So this is a gift from me and my wife. This is olive oil from the West Bank.
Ah.
Whenever you go to, I go to Jordan a lot, but my wife also like, ask for the oil from the West Bank.
It's very good.
ازيكم عاملين ايه؟ يا رب تكونوا بألف خير. كلنا عارفين باسم يوسف عمل ايه في الإعلامي أو المذيع الأمريكي المشهور بيرس مورجان، وازاي ان هو قصف جبهته. بس ما شفناش الجزء التاني، دي الحلقة التانية. يا ريت نتفرج عليها للآخر، ويا ريت ندعم الفيديو بلايك، نوصل الفيديو ل 10,000 لايك عشان يوصل لناس كتير قوي. ويلا بينا مع الفيديو.
So this is a gift from me and my wife. This is olive oil from the West Bank.
Ah.
Whenever you go to, I go to Jordan a lot, but my wife also like, ask for the oil from the West Bank.
It's very good.
It is the best oil ever. And the thing is, the olive trees, they survive up to 600 years. And they are passed from one generation to the other. And it is like a family heritage. And the way that you do it, so this is za'atar, and you add to it sesame and a bunch of herbs. Since 1967, Israel have actually uprooted 800,000 olive trees, just to.
Why aren't you taking in any Palestinians? Why is Egypt not taking Palestinians? Why does the Arab world want to constantly attack Israel without actually offering any place to go for the Palestinians? And what do you say to that?
That is exactly what Israel wants. And that is exactly what might actually starts Third War III. This is the war solution. These are Palestinians. These are their lands. And then suddenly take them. Why? So they've been basically kicked around from their homes. And now another country should take them? You see what will happen? Imagine this. Now. And because Israeli official has been talking openly about this. It's like, why don't they just go in Sinai? Why they go? You know what would happen? Those people are going to be pushed in Sinai. And with any population, 2 million people, they are living in refugee camp. What do you think will happen? Unrest. Chaos. And then after a few years, the Western media will come with their cameras like, oh, look at those Arabs. Oh, they're killing each other. Oh, Israel is good that they got rid of them. And then they will go to the West Bank. And suddenly those 3.5 million people push into Jordan. The whole idea, why does Jordan take them? Why does Egypt take them? The same question. Europe has 44 countries. Why don't they take Israel? America has 50 states. Why don't they give them Florida? I mean, we seem to complain about Florida the whole time. Why don't they just like give Israel? The whole idea was like, oh, you're Arabs, you're all the same. No. Because what will happen then? So Israel will move into Jordan? It's like, oh, Saudi, why don't you take the Jordanian?
So
this is not a solution. This is not a solution.
Bاسم,
In 3 weeks, Israel morally corrupted the West like no other. I think the West will have a lot of time to recover because for years, the West has been telling us, oh, look, we're liberal. We're all about human rights. All are equal. Adopt our values. And then suddenly, but you don't want to even to cease. We don't want to even tell Israel to stop. And suddenly we wake up and we found McDonald's are giving free meals to the Israeli because like nothing will make you feel better after killing a bunch of Palestinian kids than a happy meal.
So let me ask you this.
They have a toy.
So this brings, say, take the student protests in America, at university. But I do have a problem. The protests that happened almost immediately after October the 7th, inflammatory and hurtful to Jewish people.
They see Israel as criminal state who is killing their people. They are supported by the international community in America. It's just a feeling of happiness, like, yes, our enemies that we cannot touch them has been hurt. If I cannot get you, I'm just going to scratch your eyes. Because you've been beating me all the time. If you look up Sidrot Cinema in 2014, when Israel was bombing Gaza as usual, and the Israelis in the Sidrot settlement went on a hill, and they had popcorn, and they had drinks, and they were like watching the show, and they were cheering with every rocket coming down. The wedding of hate, Jewish wedding in Israel, where they were celebrating the arsons and the burning of Palestinian. Samer Abu Za'anin, who is like a young kid that he was shot point blank by an Israeli soldier, and he was not allowed to have any medical attention. And as his dead body was being put into ambulance, the Jewish settlers were cheering.
Was bombed.
Who do you think did it?
Hamas immediately tell the world it was an Israeli airstrike. Most independent studies of what happened have concluded that it was almost certainly a militant stroke terror group inside Gaza, and they fired a rocket which landed in the hospital car park. In other words, it wasn't an Israeli airstrike.
So I have an issue with that because for 3 days before the attack, the priest and the patriarch of the hospital said that they have received multiple warning from Israel that they're going to hit the hospital. And then at the time of the hit of the hospital, one of the top aides of Netanyahu, he tweeted about like we hit the hospital, and then he deleted it, and then basically like Israel gaslighted the world.
But
It was not us. It was not us.
But that's why I said most independent.
No, that's not true. Over 10 years, Hamas launched 35,000 rockets into Israel.
And many failed.
They killed 69 people. But in one strike, you want to tell me that these glorified firecrackers caused that kind of damage?
Yes, it looks like they did, yeah.
Okay.
40 babies have been reported to have been killed, including
So where
some
are those
who
beheaded
were beheaded.
babies?
Well, apparently journalists are being shown utterly horrific footage.
As a journalist, wouldn't you take anything that an authority would say with a grain of thought?
Yes.
Especially if this authority have a long history of lying. 1996, they bombed Kana. It's a refugee camp. They killed 106 people. Despite that they knew it's a refugee camp. They said, oh, maybe it's a one-time off. 2006, they bombed Kana again. 2014, they killed 2 teenagers at a checkpoint. They denied, as usual, but CNN was there. So they said, we have to say it. 2018, they killed a medic, a Palestinian medic, and they fabricated a video showing that it's someone else, that he was a human shield. 2010, they killed Ahmed Oraikat, denied it, then said, it's okay, it's us. 2021, they bombed the media office in Hamas. It's not us, but no, I'm sorry. And then, 11th May 2022, Shireen Abu Akleh, reporter. How can I expect to believe this regime? There's a deep sentiment in the Middle East, in Arabs, that the West do not look at us as equal.
Well, you know what?
So what I did, I went to the machines.
Yeah.
And I asked ChatGPT simple questions. Do Israelis deserve to be free? And you know what they tell me? Yes, Israelis deserve the right like any other people. And then I asked the same question. Do Palestinians deserve to be free? And you know what they tell me? It is complex. It is a sensitive issue.
Fair-minded. Where would you criticize from 48 onwards the behavior of the Arab side?
Well, put yourself in the Arab side. At 1948, you constituted 70% of the population. Suddenly, the UN is giving you 48% of the land. 6 or 7 million people living outside. Those people, the Palestinians that were pushed out, they do not have the right to go back. Right now, if you meet Palestinians, you'll see them wearing a necklace with a key. That key is their house that they were kicked out from in Jaffa and Haifa. My wife's family comes from Ramla, which is 50 miles from Gaza. And according to the law, those people have absolutely no right to go back. Even if you are a Palestinian with an American passport, they give you hell in order to go in. And yet, a Jewish person born anywhere in the world, born in Poland, born in Ukraine, no question asked, he can jump on a plane, land in Israel, and get the Israeli citizen and take a house that most probably belonged to a Palestinian.
If Israel has decided to eliminate a terror group, Hamas, how do you do it if you don't do it the way Israel is currently trying to do it?
3 weeks, 9,000 Palestinian civilian death, 21,000 injured. Israel just bombed Jabalia, which is a known refugee camp. This is not self-defense.
But how else do they get rid of Hamas?
Not, it's very important to look at things in context. When you see how Israelis talk inside their community. There was a very famous post by Uriel Eritzol. He is the speechwriter of Netanyahu. He said, the whole Palestinian people are our enemies. All of them are enemy combatants. We should kill them, kill their mother, destroy their homes, the homes that they raised those snakes, so no snakes will be raised in this house anymore. And this was reposted by Ali Chaket, which is the Minister of, wait for it, Justice. They have said it many times, Pierce. This is a way to kind of push them into cyanide. I am sorry, but like anybody who still believes that this is about Hamas is stupid.
I don't believe Hamas can possibly stay in any position of authority in Gaza. I don't know any other way other than the way Israel is currently doing this.
So if a terrorist takes over the Empire State, instead of taking him out, we bomb the whole Empire State?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Proportion.
That is not even a question. Well, that was not even a question, because that would be ridiculous.
You talk about I'm really struggling to see what else Israel is supposed to do to get rid of Hamas.
Pierce, this is never about Hamas. Believe me, it is never about Hamas. If somebody tells you who they are, listen. Israel has been telling the world all the time, they need to clear the Gaza Strip into Egypt.
You think that's always been the plan?
Always there. I mean, they have said it. They have said it many times. Why does Egypt take them? And do you think when Egypt takes them, do you think they go back? And then when they're done with Gaza, they will go back to the West Bank. They will kind of like build the settlements around them, and then until they push them into Jordan, because that is the plan. They have not just Benjamin Netanyahu, everybody said like there's no state, two states. It is one state and it's for the Jewish
I don't
people.
think he believes in a two-state solution.
Nobody believes in a two-state solution. It is one state, but that's the circle state. It's
I understand. It's a circular forest code.
Hamas.
الناس حبايب قلبي اللي كملوا الفيديو للاخر، هو الدعم قل جدا بس احنا برضو مكملين، فيا ريت لو حابب تدعمنا حط لايك، شير، اشترك في القناه، فعل زر الجرس عشان يوصلك كل جديد، وسلام.